Manchester United.
Yeah.
Signed a striker last summer in Joshua Zirkzee. Signed a striker the summer before that
In Hoyland.
In Hoyland.
I think the striker in the season before that was Ronaldo, was it not?
And they signed a striker the season before that for Ronaldo. And now they're looking to sign 3 strikers. That would be Cunha, Mbomo, and Delap, who all... I know Cunha... Mbomo's kind of he plays wide, like an inside forward.
So does Cunha.
Cunha plays more centrally. They don't
No,
really
but Cunha plays behind the front, man.
Yeah, he's a second striker. Yeah. He's a second striker.
Yeah, and we play with 2 players behind the front, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, he's a striker. I'm saying Mbomo maybe isn't a striker, but Liam Delap and Cunha are definitely strikers.
You know? I mean, Liam Delap can only play up front.
Yeah.
We play 3...
Cunha to me is not a 10, he's a second striker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So
no, but no.
You man are signing more strikers. Mm-hmm. That's the point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So...
But I feel like you have to understand the landscape.
Go on, talk to me.
United have just lost the Europa League final and have had the worst season in history.
Yeah.
We can't... The optimism for Man United is right down on the floor. Any business we do has to be immediate. Yeah. Has to be immediate, bro. Forget from a financial perspective. You need something to distract the fans and make the fans believe in you next season.
And you're only really shopping from a pool of players that are not looking at European football next year.
Of course.
Because you're going to have to way overpay to get people to come and
No, but I actually like that. Do you know why I like that? Because Liam Delap scored 12 goals last season. Cunha scored, I think, 15 goals last season. And Mbomo scored...
Like 20?
Not in the league. I think he scored like maybe 14, 15 goals in the league. Yeah. So you've just signed 3 players who's Premier League proven. Next season, we're only playing Premier League. We're not playing anything else. Yeah. So I don't need you to get me a European level player because we're not playing in Europe.
Yeah.
Get me someone who's gonna get us playing that's gonna be winning at a high enough level. For me, every single one of those signings, maybe not the lap, but every single one of those strikers, I think I understand why he's done it because he wants a completely new front three. Obviously, Zirkzee was better than Hoyland, but he didn't work out. Hoyland didn't work out. Garnacho's going, which we're going to talk about, but. Rashford's probably going, Sancho's probably going, Anthony's probably going. So those 6 players are going. We're going to need to get at least 4 players in to replace them. And I guess Ahmad's going to be staying. Other than that, you're looking at our front three and it's really, really thin. We were playing Mount up behind the front man in the last game. Do you know what I'm saying? He's going to
be staying.
But that's my whole point. So when I see business like that and I see business early, I know I was Amarin out, and I'm probably still. I didn't even want Amarin in the first place, just to let you know. But I know I was Amarin.
You did, but not in January.
I actually didn't want Amarin in at all.
You wanted to keep Ten Hag?
No, I wanted us to keep Van Nistelrooy until the end of the season,
and then get who?
And then look at the landscape at the end of the season.
Okay.
But Amarin, now he's been in the season. Now we know he's definitely staying. This is what I want to see. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you're Yardman, for example. You're Yardman and you're Arteta out. If you know Arteta isn't going anywhere, the second best thing is go and buy me a striker first day. Yeah. Go and buy me a Gyökeres first day. Or Isak first day. Then, at least it's going to make me think, you know what, maybe I don't support you, but that's a good move. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, at some point you've got to let go of the Amarin out situation or Arteta out. You can feel Arteta out, but come the first game of the season, he's not going.
He's not going anywhere.
So it is what it is. What's your target? Like, what do you think for next season? You man finished 17th this year.
15th.
Was it 15th? Yeah, the Spurs finished 17th. You man finished 15th this year. What's your target? You're going to get these signings. You're only playing in the league. You've only got the league to focus on. That can sometimes good and bad because there's kind of pressure on you to this the only competition, etc. And I also think that after the couple of seasons you've won a League Cup, you've won an FA Cup last couple of years, but not with this manager. You lost the final, etc., etc. Big pressure. What's the target for you next year? Is it just about because normally we win trophies, but is it really about would you take 14th in the cup, or does it need to be, bro, we need to be back in Europe?
No. This is the thing. I feel like for the first time, I feel like United have to look at this season halfway through the season. Let me explain. If halfway through the season we haven't got a style of play, and we don't have any form of consistency, Amarin has to go. You have no credit from last season. You have no credit from last season. The players that we've bought this season is purely and simply players that the club's bought. I don't believe they're players that Amarin has identified and said, get me that player.
You mean these players that we're getting now?
The 3 players that we've bought, I do not think that's the case. Because if I'm Amarin, I would have been looking for some... He hasn't been in the league long enough to say X, Y, Z is the players that I want. Do you know what I'm saying? He doesn't know these players enough to make that decision. I feel like these are club signings. And if that's the case, that means that you can look at this and say, you know what? If after halfway through the season, we do not have we don't have a style of play and we're not having consistent performances, you got to go. I feel like it's one of those seasons where I don't know what is the bare minimum, because I don't know, because I can say the bare minimum is to finish in the top 8, for example. The bare minimum is to finish in the top 8. But then Chelsea, Spurs, City, and let's say Aston Villa, they drop off. Then all of a sudden, like, I'll give you an example. The season that you lot challenged for the league the first time, it wasn't your expectation to challenge for the league. It was to get top 4. But then after halfway through the season, you're like, Ross, and I feel like that's this season for us. I feel like this season could be a season where we're like, you're not winning the league, but we could be halfway through the season in the top 4 race. And then all of a sudden finishing in the top 8 isn't the bare minimum anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like we literally just need, the things I'm looking for is a style of play and his consistent performances. Where that then brings us, that's a completely different conversation, because we've seen in previous seasons, Nottingham Forest had a style of play and a consistent way of playing and almost got Champions League football. Do I feel like we can get a team that's better than Nottingham Forest next season? 100%. And that team was almost good enough to get Champions League. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, that's the bare minimum that I want. Style of play and consistent performances.
They had Nuno, though. Good experience.
That was Nuno's first season. That was Nuno's first season. Nobody at the start of the season was saying for them to did not get relegated, probably. Do you know what I'm saying? But because he had a style of play and consistent performances and players that played well for the manager, all of a sudden their ambitions were higher than what they expected. And that's what I expect out of United this season.
So as of right now, what's the goal? Because you told me you're going to reassess in January, but what's the goal as of right now?
As of right now, I expect for us to, for one, I want it to be a case of next season, we are, by halfway through the season, we are no lower than 7th place.
No, but what's your goal for the season? Not halfway through the season, for the actual season, as of right now. You could change it later, but as of right now.
As of right now, if we can challenge for like a top 5 position, if we can challenge for a top 5 position, then I would take that. If you can challenge.
It's tall order, I think.
I don't actually think so, bro. The reason why, let me tell you why I don't think so. I know why you're saying that, but let me tell you why I don't think so. I feel like when you look at the quality of the Premier League, how many teams are really that good? Nottingham Forest almost finished in the top 4 this year, bro. They almost finished in the top 4. Like, we're talking about at one stage, Aston Villa were a couple points off you.
Okay, so when you're talking about like teams being that good, I don't know what you mean by that, but I will say that second to 6th, 7th, that's competitive. That's very
not second, maybe 3rd. Because Spurs
we were there.
No.
By the end, it was within about 3 points. It was within 3 points.
No, but in terms of quality of the team, we're talking...
No, we're not talking about quality of the team. Because good quality teams can lose. We're just talking about points.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Points tally-wise, there's maybe 5 points between 2nd and like 7th or 8th. So it's a fine margin. Even if we're not talking about the teams being amazing, it's close. Points-wise, it's close.
But you got to understand that this team... This last season, the season before last, we finished, I think, 7th or 8th under Ten Hag. The season before that, we finished 3rd. Do you get what I'm saying? And then this season, we finished 17th. So that's a steady regression, right? So for me, I'm looking at next season and I'm like, the 3 signings that we've just signed, as well as, for me, a few core players that if we can keep, which I think we're going to get into what players we can keep and what not we can't keep, who we can't keep. But the 3 players that we can't, that we will be able to keep, I feel like that should be good enough to get us at least challenging for the Champions League next season.
Yeah.
And we're playing once a week, bro. Like, I genuinely... Bro,
this is a big opportunity.
There's 8 teams next season or 9 teams next season playing 2 times a week next season.
I think that you guys should focus on you can take this season as a free hit, because really, when I say free hit, what I mean is you're not going to finish 15th, right? You're not going to finish that low. So, but things that you would normally need to address, the wage balance, for example, like structural problems in your club, it's not pretty and it's painful, but you can take a season where you're only playing in the Premier League to readdress those things. Get some of those big earners out. Get people like Liam Delap coming up. You know, he's not on big wages. Brian and Bomo not on massive wages. I think Cunha is probably going to demand quite high wages.
Not as much as what we've been given.
Yeah,
out,
true.
Though.
Yeah. I guess not as much by Arsenal and United standards.
Not even just that, bro. We're getting rid of Rashford. We're getting rid of Sancho. Those man already. That's over 500,000, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's 2 players that we're getting rid of.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm getting rid of Garnacho as well. He's got to go as well. I think there's a clear sign that United's trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we get rid of these players. I'm like, Shaw, Garnacho, Sancho,
you think Cass will go?
Rashford, Casemiro, even though I actually like Casemiro. Casemiro's got to go. I think Højlund's like 150 million,
between
bro.
Like Højlund and Anthony are on quite...
Anthony's gonna go.
Yeah.
And because Real Betis said they're gonna do everything in their power to get him, so he's gonna go. That's another person on a bag of wages from another person's regime. I feel like when you think about that, this is literally not a blessing in disguise, but I know what you mean by free hit. Whereas, like, because we finished so low, a lot of these players we wanted to get rid of anyway.
Basically, you're not going to go any lower. This is the lowest like when we said like 15th, 16th, 17th, there's no difference. You're not going to get relegated. So you can't really go any lower than where you were. But use this season to readdress those problems that have been recurring problems, recurring recruitment problems, those types of issues.
I am so refreshed by this as well. You know why I'm so refreshed by this is because the last few seasons, we've signed players that's gambles.
Yeah.
In fact, I could probably say since... How many years has that been the case, bro?
Yeah.
How many years has United signed players that's a gamble?
Yeah.
And I'm like, for me, specifically with Cunha and Mbeumo, they are not gambles, bro. The reason... Liam Delap potentially, but Cunha and Mbeumo,
Cunha's on the edge. He's got 1 season.
He's been in the Premier League before. This is his 2nd season in the Premier.
Oh, is it? I thought it was his 1st season.
I'm pretty sure it's his... Check. I'm pretty sure it's his 2nd.
I thought it was his 1st. I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's his 2nd season at Wolves. Wasn't he not playing with flipping Jimenez on... What's it called?
Let me check. Yeah, it's 2nd season. 2nd
season. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, them 2 players, and what Cunha done last season wasn't just a good season, it was a great season. 3rd season. Exactly. His 3rd season in the Premier League. So for me, like, we're talking about 2 players.
He came like part way through
the 3rd season.
The 3rd season.
But
so
yeah,
2.5 years. Yeah.
Fam, yeah. I feel like he's definitely someone who's not a gamble, and neither is Mbeumo, bro.
Yeah, I hear you.
The only person who I would have got instead would have been an Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
That would have been the only person who, because I know he's not a gamble either.
Yeah. Premier League proven for sure.
Literally.